Hey everybody, this is Chad Liebarger with Remax Full House. On episode 2 of Real Estate and Real People, I'm sitting down today with my buddy Eddy. He's with Opulence Lending. We're gonna get this started and go ahead and introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Hi guys, my name's Eddy. Full name is Edward Sigillian. I am a mortgage loan originator and mortgage broker here in the Denver area, serving all the provinces and areas of Colorado. And I'm very happy to be here. Chad, thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited and ready to get this started.
Nice. Yeah, so how'd you get started in lending? What got you into this business?
Yeah, it's a funny story actually. So I compete on the national team in karate, in the sport of karate. And I was in a weird part of my life where I was in college. However, I wasn't completely sure what I wanted to do. And I made the senior national team for the first time when I was about 19 years old, 20 years old. And I roomed with one of my buddies. His name is Frank. He competes in like a lower weight category than me. So we were in the room together, and we just weighed in, and so he was good to go finally eat because he was cranky the whole trip. And he comes up to me. He's like, "Yeah, hold on. I need to finish up some work." And I looked at him with the most confusing face, and I was like, "What do you mean you have to work, dude? We're at a competition. Like, what work can you get done?" And he fires up his laptop, opens up all his programs, and he starts doing his thing, and I kind of just peek over his shoulder, and I was curious as to what he has going on. And he started explaining to me the whole mortgage broker side of things. And he said that, well, you know, I want to be an athlete, and at the same time, I want to build something for myself, build a career, and help as many people as possible. So he, like, throughout that whole week, it was a Monday through Sunday trip, I literally was just like watching him and asking him questions and seeing what it was like, and realized that this was something that I was looking for, because I didn't want to ever leave my athletic career. However, training and competing and also teaching, it takes up a lot of time. And so you're not, used to working the traditional jobs that have the traditional like 9 to 5 hours. And after that, I came back to Colorado, did the course, the 20-hour course, passed everything, took the test, passed, got licensed with them, and I'm opening up the branch here in Colorado now. I'm actually the one and only mortgage broker that they have out here in Colorado.
Nice. So it's good business.
Oh yeah, absolutely, man. They have the whole squad over there in Florida, but
yeah.
It works.
What's a typical day look like for you?
Typical day. So I changed it around a little bit. I hate morning workouts, man. As much as an athlete is supposed to work out in the morning, I can't do it. So the first thing that I'll do is I'll get into the office around like 8:30, whatever, just a little before 9, before everybody kind of gets in, get my stuff together, and I'll basically work up until 3 or 4. Give or take, a little bit longer sometimes, a little bit earlier I'll leave, and then I'll end up teaching from around like 4:30 till 6. From 6 to 8, I'll train on my own, like karate-wise, techniques, working on all that good stuff. And then from about like 8:45, I would say, till 9:45, I'll go do my gym workout, my athletic, whatever I need to do. Get home, shower, do a little recovery, to bed, and repeat again the next day.
Nice.
That's kind of what a day in a life, I'd say, as a mortgage broker / professional athlete looks like.
Hey, yeah, you got plenty of work going on there. If I was a buyer,
right?
What would you walk me through? What would you do to help me buy a home if I was a buyer?
Absolutely, I think that's a great question. I think that's a question that not a lot of people ask, but I think step one and the most important step is understanding what you want and where we qualify right now. Right? And just setting expectations of, okay, if you want a home at $400,000, right? And you're expecting your monthly payment to be $1,500, that's an expectation that I need to kind of set straight that, hey, that's not realistic, right? So I think it all starts off with that, and it starts off with the fact of, this is where we want to be at. What do we need to do to get there? Because not everybody qualifies right in the moment. However, there are steps that you can take to get qualified for whatever you want to get qualified for. And at the same time, some people are just curious and just want to step their front foot in the door, right? So after expectations and things of that nature, it goes into the whole pre-approval process. Okay, well, let's get your documents. Let's see where your numbers are at. Let's see what your rate is going to be at. Let's talk about that. And as soon as, we establish that and, understand each other and see where we're going to be at, where we want to be at, then it goes into what are the next steps. Do we need to do credit repair? Do we need to help boost your income? Do we need to file your taxes for next year? Do we need to wait? Do we need to push back or pull on this, right? And then after that, it's the legwork goes into my field, and I get you approved for the loan, man. It's pretty straightforward like that, I feel like.
What's a normal credit score that I'm sure, like people, they get so worried about, oh, my credit's not good enough, and I know that we can work on getting into credit repair, but what's a good credit score, like bottom credit score to like average credit score that you like to see people work with to make sure that you can qualify the loans and everything like that?
So I've seen, I don't like using minimums because I feel like that scares people away, but I've seen people go from like having scores of 560 to simple things of paying off a little bit here, paying off a little bit there, getting current on certain documents and boosting their score all the way up to like 600s, right? On the average, from what I've seen between a lot of different buyers, I'll say I see score anywhere from 620 to like the 670 range on average. Okay. Obviously, you get buyers that will have crazy great credit scores of like 780 and 760 and 800, and that's just because they took the correct steps at first, and some people just need a little bit of extra guidance and a little bit of extra help to correct that. But I don't think that credit score should be something that ever scares anybody away, right? You can have a 500 for all I care. There's always a way to boost that up and get that repaired and get that fixed with the right team.
For sure. What do you enjoy most about your job? Like serving the people and helping them through the process? Like what drives you to just go on to those crazy deals that, they freak out of nowhere, and you try to figure out what drives you to like keep coming back and help these people get what they want?
100%. And I think you can probably relate to this. It's that idea of somebody feels like they almost in a sense like hopeless, like, oh man, I can't do this. Like I really want this to happen, but I can't do this. It's like when you're a kid and you're in a toy store and you go in and you can't, for whatever reason you can't get that toy that you really want, and then you come back the next time and you're finally able to get it, that feeling of, oh my god, like I finally have it, I achieved this, right? And that's the number one feeling that drives me, is being able to see the look in someone's eyes, the hope that you can inspire into someone when being like, hey, right now we might not be able to do this, but let's take these steps and let's get it done. And my favorite thing, like the cherry on top, is always finally getting to the closing table, seeing the smile light up on somebody's face when they sign the papers and you give them the keys, and they're so thankful and passionate about it. But at the end of the day, I feel like that's like what I live. That's what drives me the most, is definitely that feeling. I
agree. Yeah, getting that closing table is always that great thing. Handing you over the keys and shaking hands, and here you got everything approved. You guys did everything exactly what you needed to do. Also, don't buy cars before you buy a house. Never do that. Don't mess up your credit.
Right.
That's everybody's got a story for that. But outside of stuff like that, like what's your craziest story what's the craziest loan that you've had to approve and stuff like that?
Craziest loan, huh? Okay, I want to hear your story after I say this one. But I had a situation where so in the loan world, obviously debt to income is the most important thing, right? Your income has to be above your debts by the 50% threshold, right? Meaning, in simple terms, if you make $2,000 a month and your debts are $1,000, right? That's 50%. That's half. That means you're at a perfect, like you're barely qualifying. You're just on the line, right? So I had a borrower who we were, I think, 3 days away from closing. Something happened with their credit, or along those lines, where the bank ended up adding extra debt into their calculations. So their debt to income ratios flew over the roof. They were at 49%, and all of a sudden they were at 52%. And so now I have the borrowers freaking out, I have the realtor freaking out, the sellers freaking out, the seller's agent freaking out. And I was like, okay. So I was able to, like, a day before closing, I got into the file. I finally figured out that I was able, because we had them using like a down payment assistance program, and they got like 5% in a forgivable. So I took some of that money, I used it into their like credit that they owed. So they owed like $300 or $400 in credit card debt, whatever it may have been, and I used that to pay that off at closing. So they basically got checks to pay off their credit cards at closing that dropped the DTIs low, and then that also left them over some cash, and they got another $1,000 back at closing as well. So it went from like barely qualifying to disaster to it ended up in a really, really good way just by just by structure. Now you got to tell me, man. I'm sure you've had some crazy stories yourself.
So one of my craziest deals that happened with me is I was living down in Pueblo West at the time, and I actually had a guy who wanted to move from Pueblo down to Lamar, and he went with a nationwide brokerage that the lender was not even in the same state. Can't say the company and stuff like that, right. But he wasn't even in the state. We had to extend that contract 12 times for closing because it was right before closing. We had some hiccups. We couldn't get a hold of the lender. We couldn't do anything like that. And it worked out to where every time we got a hold of the lender, he's like, yeah, just close 2 days from now. And I got it figured out. 2 days come around and we had to extend it 12 times. And this poor seller, he was getting so fed up with us. And I was like, we really want to close on the house. They have it ready to go. This lender's just not giving us what we need. So that's when I started making sure that everybody that I work with is using local lenders, people that we can talk to, people that we can come and meet and sit down with. Because it's such a big thing with some of these companies that they bank off of trust, but they don't provide.
Right.
And so like that's the thing is like I want people to understand is that like, you know, when you're coming to Eddy, when you're coming to anybody that, you know, a realtor recommends, there's a chance that, you know, they've worked with them before. They know what they can do and you can trust them. So the biggest thing I want to build is like trust.
Right.
And, you know, if I can't trust you, then they can't trust you, and then things just collide. And that's why I've got a current deal where the lender, they actually had the buyers had to change lender, and we were supposed to close Monday. So they had to change lender right here at the end because another big nationwide company is not providing what they need. So the one thing I want to make sure people understand is that when you're coming to Eddy, like you're getting his full attention. He's working with you. He's pulling you through this when you think that you're stuck in the mud. He's there to get you out, and he's here to help you out.
Right. And I can't even stress how important it is, the fact that like if in the worst case scenario, like I can call Chad at any time and he'll pick up the phone or he'll answer and we can talk to things. But in the worst case, it's like a 30-minute, 40-minute drive, whatever. The point is you're accessible to each other and you're always available to each other. And with that, you can always be on the same page, right? Like the deal that we worked together, I mean, it was super quick. It was super easy. It took us like a week from under contract to closing, which was nice. But if anything would have went wrong, it could have always been like, okay, well, I need to go see Chad. In the worst case, hop in your car, you drive over, hey, we need to work this out, talk it out, work it out, boom. Everybody's on the same page and you continue moving, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I completely agree. And, you know, with me personally, and I'm sure you're kind of the same way, but, you know, one of the other questions I was thinking about is like, you know, what do you do? Are you there for your clients? Like when the transaction's over, are they able to just call you up and be like, hey, something went wrong?
I have literally 2 days ago, one of the clients that I closed in July of last year, first time home, like they were first time, bunch of siblings. They contacted me because they got a letter in the mail and they were like, hey, is this legit? And it was a fraudulent letter asking for some kind of extra payment. And I was like, no, this is not legit. Like throw it away. Absolutely not. And then they continued, you know, they'll text me and they got a property tax update for this year. They're like, hey, do we have to do anything? Do I need to like contact anybody? I was like, no, it's already integrated in your payment. You're all good. I'm there throughout at the beginning of the process. I'm always there at the closings if I can be. I'm there at, you know, any after closing if we go to the house to celebrate. And I always keep my line available at any time. And I think that's a good practice for everybody because if you stop the relationship there, first of all, you can lose potential business in the future because when you do a good job helping somebody, they'll usually refer you to somebody else, to a family member, to a friend that might come across the same situation. And I just feel like as a person, that's just decency, right?
Yeah.
When you finish the deal, you help them out. If they have a quick question, it doesn't take much to answer a phone call, shoot a quick text to help them figure it out, especially as the professional that you claim to be. I always keep my line open to them 24/7, even on the weekends, man.
I completely agree with that. I tell people all the time, like, if your real estate agent is not willing, if you feel like you're bothering your real estate agent, they're not doing their job. If you feel like you're bothering your lender, they're not doing their job. Because
Absolutely.
like we're here to help you through the biggest purchase of your life, unless somehow you buy a car that's more than your house, but that's just different.
Oh my God.
So and they get up there pretty quick. But like the goal is that we're here to help everybody that we can. We want to get everybody to the closing table. We want to make sure that you guys are secure, and questions come up even in the middle of the night. Text us, call us. If we don't answer, we'll text you back or call you first thing in the morning when we get some time. Or if he's overseas representing the United States,
yeah, absolutely,
that's different. But he can still call you and he can still figure everything out. I guess if there's anything that you want anybody else to know, I guess you can give them your address, your phone number, and stuff like that.
Yeah,
we can work on getting some information out there. And if you guys want, reach out to me. I'm at Remax Full House in Strasburg, and I can get you guys hooked up with Eddy, whenever. But the goal is to, he can service anywhere in Colorado. So if you're looking for something, there's a chance that he can help you. I can help you find it, and he can help you finance it. So at the end of the day, the mic is yours, and
absolutely.
Enjoy it.
Yeah. So just to keep it nice and simple, an easy way to contact me and that I recommend from everybody is by my number, and it's 720-440-4029. You can save that, write it down, backtrack the video, whatever you need to do to write it down. I also post on social media a lot, and I answer a lot through Instagram, and my username on there is MLO_SAGIL. Funny story with that is my last name is Sagilian, and I'm Armenian. So in the Armenian community, people have my nickname because there's a lot of Eddies. Mm-hmm. They'll say Sagil because it's the first four letters on my last name or whatever it may be. That's my little nickname. So that's what I use in my Instagram handle, and I post videos on there all the time, and it's the same informational kind of stuff. And I am always active on there in terms of messages and stuff like that. But you can also reach me at my address right now, who I've had the pleasure of Chad visiting this time, at 480 South Holly Street. It's very close to Cherry Creek Mall, so it's in that general area. I got coffee, tea, water, sparkling water, whatever you can imagine I got over here. But I guess my last little send-off is communication is something that I hold very, very deep in terms of how I value myself as a person. You will always be understanding as to what's going on. You'll always be updated, and I will always be available for you whenever, like we were talking about. And as much as I can service the Colorado area, there's actually one loan product that I can do in almost all 50 states, which is called a DSCR. Now, not a lot of people know about a DSCR, but it's for my investors out there who don't want to deal with all of the income documentation and all the DTIs and all that kind of, crap. But it basically uses the home to qualify you for the loan. That's a simple, and if you guys want to hear more information about that, feel free to give me a call, give Chad a call. We can talk more about that and get you into it. But I can do that loan in almost any single state. So feel free to let me know, feel free to reach out, do whatever you need to do, and we'll keep it, moving from there. And I'm excited to see how amazing this podcast gets, see what awesome people you can get on here, and hear a little bit more about everybody else's story as well.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me come and do the interview, and it's been great talking with you over the last few months and meeting you and just getting this whole process going. And I'm glad that you came on here, and hopefully everybody gets business all around, and we can keep moving forward, bud.
110%. I'm very, very excited, very happy. This is a great guy. I'm very blessed to have met him, had made this awesome connection, and can't wait to keep some more supporting, whether it's from behind the scenes or right here shining on the camera.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you guys can find this on YouTube and Spotify. It's underneath the Real Estate and Real People. Right now I'm posting them underneath of the Liebarger team on YouTube, but if you just Google it, I'll have Eddy's name on there, and it should come up as Real Estate and Real People and Eddy's name, or Opulence Lending, whichever we decide to go with, and you should be able to locate it and watch it and share it to your friends. If anybody's looking to get a loan, give them a call. If you guys want to find a house, give me a call. We can move forward from there.
100%, man. Sharing is the easiest part. Click a couple buttons, help a person out. As much as we can help them out, you can do the exact same thing. So,
have a good one.
See you guys.